Brian Ritsuno here. Today, I wanted to share with you the importance of mastering the emotional control, which, in a way, is in a perspective of warrior's mindset. It is like when it comes to battles, or you're facing the enemies or insurmountable obstacles in life. You're gonna have a lot of like up and downs, especially coming along with stress. And when you're dealing with this type of like the almost like extreme sort of conditions, how you gonna maintain your coolness, so to speak, so that you can act in the most efficient manner. For me, it's like this was quite a difficult journey, just because I think my environment, where I grew up, not a lot of people have or probably none has this sense of emotional control, at least consciously. So it was really difficult, and when the emotion is not contained or well channeled or controlled, your actions or behaviors becomes generally too extreme or inappropriate, and that's what I experienced. And because of that, there's a lot of negative consequences, not just socially, but where I should keep going, I quit, or I didn't quit and then double down where I should have just pulled back, because I couldn't really control my emotion and have the emotion take over. So rationality couldn't really function that well or take in charge. So eventually, like, I realized uh, whenever I make a decision, when the emotional up and down is uh, above the certain limit, even I was too joyful or too sad or too tired or too feeling too great or whatever, just a little bit up or down. Those decisions are generally not optimal, and some of them are quite disastrous. So I realize that controlling emotion is really difficult. It it's really the root of our power, like the motivation. So we're almost like managing the overflow of that, some sort of like the root cause of energy. So that is why it's very difficult. If you try to kind of squeeze down, the pressure is so high that then it's gonna reverse, repel back out. So it's almost important to just harness it or channel it rather than suppress your emotion. So let's say like the difficulty of this type of emotional control stems from, like, a lot of times uh, people might say, you know, uh, I had a like a really, let's say, you might say like, oh, I had a lot of like hardships in life, like really heartache. Somebody did something, possibly your parents split, or you get physically abused or whatever the trauma you had, and because of the defensive mechanism, your emotions gets really taken over, so that you can actually fight back in some way, like a defensive way, or you shut down your emotion and things of nature. So if you have this type of situation, then what you have to do is really just to understand that forgiveness is important. You don't have to really forget about it. Eventually, it's better to just not to give the perpetrator any more of effect to your life. It's better to just ignore, right? I mean, forgetting really comes from not in a sense of Jesus or any of this kind of high-mindedness. It's more like everything has been like whatever humans did to you, or whatever happened. I mean, humans are part of the nature. So just like if you're hit by lightning, or hit by a rock or a tree, and you get severe damage, that doesn't you will not going to hate rocks or lightning or the trees, right? Just like that, I mean, humans are part of nature. If you could think this way, like think a little positively, and it sort of makes sense. Even the human has that malevolence, but then that's if you can accept that as just you know, your life got, like, let's say, just like your house got destroyed by a flood or like tornado or whatever. Just think of it as just a part of the nature, that you just got this sort of like an instant happened, and you just forget it, ignore, and just move on. And you know, the best revenge. I think it's yeah, some famous guy, probably Lord. No, I don't think it's. Yeah, you know, best revenge is live well, and that's really true. So what if you're not really confident in controlling, like you always fearful, like angry, nervous, shy, you know, intimidated, that type of negative. Can I just feel like control this? You know, feel really overwhelmed. When you feel that type of things, like your actual entire body feels like really heavy. How are you gonna do this? How are you gonna control this kind of emotion, right? If it comes down to it. So what you can do first is that you gotta do something about this, right? You acknowledge it, and what really work is you gotta think rationally, because the opposite of emotion is the rationality. So think in terms of like a different perspective. Okay, this is difficult. If you get really pissed, or if you get mad or whatever, it's really hard to think that the other person or whatever is causing it is not evil. But then think from the other person's perspective. Maybe they just made a mistake, or they don't quite understand. They're ignorant, or they might have an issue on their own, and they just project into you, or whatever the cause. You never know. And also, what you can do is to just walk away. You know, that's actually one of the important technique. You don't have to engage. And also, you can just pity them. right? In a sense, like this is just a kind of like a technique, but it sometimes works. You think, okay, I'm better than this, better than these people, right? When you get mad or whatever, okay? And also, what you can do is like just acknowledge and then just say to yourself, just calm down and take a deep breath, and then give yourself time before you react, especially when it comes to angers and all that, like quite a destructive emotion. It gives really power, but like if you just unleash it without the rationality, generally it leads to bad outcome. So in that case, wait for a day, even like overnight, to react. See after you go to sleep and then wake up in the morning, how you feel about it. And if you still feel something deep, then that means your anger might be justified. So, but then you calm down as an emotion, so you should be able to act rationally regarding to that. But generally speaking, that it's most likely it's not really a big deal. It's more like a pride issue or something like that. But who cares? Like if somebody hurts your pride, as long as you are solid in your progress or stance, you should not feel hurt by somebody else's criticisms or denigration or ridicules or any of these things. And of course, like it's sounds like easier said than done. It is actually very challenging, like emotional control. I think the people who can control emotion, like they're just saying, and I think the saying is talking about the emotions control, but then people who can control their emotions or personality or whatever, control yourself basically, is doing something that is more difficult than govern the nation. So that's how difficult it is to just control yourself. But then once you control yourself, be able to do so emotionally, then really basically you can do anything, and that's the goal. And it's once you start consciously do this, it's get easier and easier. So yeah, so how do you approach? I think approach really is to do systematically in a way, like identify your emotion with word, right? Like a frustration, like those subtlety, frustration, anger, sadness, fear, all that emotions. You just identify. And once you identify, then you can actually come up with the opposite emotion to counteract. And how do you bring up the opposite emotion is to generally the easiest ways to bring up the memory associated with the opposite emotion. So for instance, if you're very sad or very tired, or feel really depressed, and think of the moment that it's really happy, something makes you happy, and then you really get yourself into it. But then sometimes like you gotta understand that your body, your physical body, and the emotion is intricately connected. So sometimes like your body might be just too tired or too fatigued or things of nature. So or you're not eating right. Then take care of those. Healthy body and healthy mind. It's really true. If you're screwing around with like sleeping or you're not working out or any of those things, generally your mental control is terrible. And is there a risk to controlling this kind of emotion? Yes, there are some. One thing is like people who control emotion, but then they overshoot. Means it's like uh, emotion is sort of the signal, right? Signal that something happened in your life. Maybe okay. So if you're for instance doing not great in your homework or work or whatever, you feel kind of bad. You really have to get that signal and then correct behavior or do something different. Otherwise, you're wasting your emotion. You know. But then sometimes some people just overcorrect. Means it's like immediately you cover it up with the positivity. It's called like a positive illusion. Means it's like you don't want to see the reality at all. So cover it with all this like a positive emotions, and this is actually very risky. So don't get into that extreme. Means means whatever it is a good signal. Okay, as long as you get control. For instance, if you have a fear, it might be actually a real fear. You know, if it's make it overly affect you, then that's a problem. So make sure that if there is an actual danger, you should notice, and then you should avoid. Okay. And if you're angry to somebody, like pissed off somebody, maybe the other person could be like a real bad person, or somebody that you have to be really careful. You don't want to just start thinking like, oh, positive all the time. Just making sure that your perception is accurate, not unfounded. So you gotta take a moment and utilize your rationality and check the situation. And and then sometimes like there are in the modern civilization this type of things it gets rare and rare, but emotion actually really tells you about the risk, like serious risk, like a physical danger, like a life and death situation. It's better to hone it rather than like suppress it all the time, and so you feel something, but you can actually channel it or harness it in a control. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not like you hide it and then you suppress it. None of these. So really like controlling really emotion. It, it is likely one of the most powerful skills you can have, because if you can do this, you for a second you don't have even if you're shy, or even if you get nervous or whatever around people, if you can control your emotion, then you don't have it, then how much opportunity you have. You can just walk up to people and start doing some kind of business, or make friends, expand your circle, right? You can do all these kinds of things. How powerful is it? The sky is going to be a real limit here. But then, since this is a really powerful tool, you have to practice. You got to do it the right way. Otherwise, if as I said, if you're doing it the wrong way, then you might just get into this positive illusion that where you delude yourself, and that's extremely dangerous, because of the reality in yourself will be so far away that then eventually, when you realize it might be too late to fix the catastrophe that's coming your way. So yeah, if somebody's like, let's say, super dangerous, like people in the youth, you think they're not, and in the modern version of it, it's like you waste a lot of time and a lot of money, and it's like a cult or that type of things. It's like a typical, or the scams, like that type of things is like a typical example of not being able to really control your emotion well. So yeah, yeah. When if you're watching, when you're watching this, like if you feel something, you know, in the future, like emotion is a little bit out of control, like going too high, too down, whatever, you know, try to break it down and then keep it neutral. You know, enjoy the moment if you're like feeling great, but don't indulge it, because you know, as the saying goes, before the fall, there's always a pride, right? So this kind of emotion, high emotion, is quite dangerous. Focus on the process, enjoy the moment. Enjoy what you do, but keep it cool. And when there's even a danger, it's so better to be really cool-headed. That's the warrior's mindset. Even people are dying left and right in a war. If you can be the only one, or if you can be the rare one that can stay cool, you'll probably be able to identify the risks carefully, and that you can avoid, and that you can accomplish the mission that the people who are having a hard time controlling the emotion might not be able to. So yeah, it is very powerful. So just keep working on it, and there's a lot of resources online or books. So it's really worthwhile. Thank you for watching. Please share your ideas in the comment section below to help each other, and hit like and the subscribe buttons so you get notified of the next video. See you next time.